Today I'm going to be installing some trailer hitch wiring on my 2009 BMW 535i with X-Drive. And as we go through the install process, you might notice that your connectors may be different, as there has been some changes from certain years E60s to others. So this one's specifically on the 09 535i with X-Drive, and it should be, I believe, anything after late 08 to 2000, late 2010, I think, is when they stopped making the E60. So let's just jump right into the install.
So you will need this Kurt part there, that 56146, which is a converter for your BMW E60, and to power it you're going to need this Kurt part, focus 55151. So the tools you'll need for this DIY are Phillips head screwdriver, pair of vice grips, it's easier to crimp out connectors that way, or a pair of pliers, an 8mm socket, not pictures it is a 10mm socket, which you'll also need. You need a razor blade or wire strippers, double-sided tape, and electrical tape. We're going to start by removing this panel. If you have a rivet in there, a pop rivet, go ahead and take that out. And same for the other side. I don't have them in mine, so I'm just going to kind of pull these up and out. And you lift this up to get access to that side and that side for when you want to pull these panels out. Now that the panels have been removed on both sides, you're going to want to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. Anytime you mess with the electrics of the car, it's always a good idea to make sure there's no power going to it. To do this, you just take a 10mm socket and loosen that bolt up there and get the this whole IBS sensor or IBS cable and terminal out of the way. Now that we have our pin out for where these wires go, you're going to want to unclip these harnesses in here, which are pretty easy. I don't know why it's stuck now, it's very easy before. There's just a clip, or it's hard to see there. There's a clip there, and then one on the bottom. You squeeze them together at the same time, pull and release. And these pins are numbered, although it does not want to focus right now. But you gotta believe me, they're numbered. You'll see them when you go to do yours. And we're gonna find the pins that correspond with this trailer. So right now we're going to do the right turn signal, which is this green wire, and we're going to go to pin 1 on there. So we're just going to peel back that wire a little bit and then install one of these clamp stores that it comes with. Right turn signal is connected to pin 1, so then we come on back here and see what we have to do next, which would be the stop. In our case, we're going to grab that from the left side, and it's either 6 or 7 you can use for the stop. Now that the brake's wired into pin number 6, we're going to go ahead and use pin number 3 to put the yellow wire on there for left turn. Alright, now that we've got the left turn and the stop in, lastly we have to put a tail light. This car has daytime running lights that can be switched off, and for some reason, if that fails or whatever, I'm just going to use the running lights, which is pin number 2. Alright, so we are all wired in there. Next is the ground, which I'm going to just ground to one of these bolts back here. I believe it's an 8mm bolt there. That should provide a good enough ground. And then I'm going to run power right after that. By the way, this white wire here is the grounding wire. Alright, that's all ground now. And last but not least is to wire power to it, which we're going to use that other kit to connect this, this power wire with an inline fuse and run it directly to the battery. You don't have to worry about it draining your battery, because it will only pull power when this is activated, so pretty much when the car is running or when you're in it with the lights on. So to connect that black wire to that one from the wiring kit, we're going to use a supplied butt connector and connect it first before we put the inline fuse in. Now we're going to do that, and then we're going to see just how much wire we need to run to the battery so we don't have a whole ton of excess wire. And I think I'm going to run mine behind here, or tucked away under there, so we don't have a big wiring mess. Now that the butt splice is nice and secure, I'm going to wrap it up with some electrical tape. That way, in case this plastic ever slides off, we don't have a loose 12 volt just bouncing around back here grounding out to things, because that'll cause you to have a bad time. I'm going to mount my converter box with some 3M tape, some double-sided 3M, right back there, and run the wiring where the OEM wiring harness goes, which is underneath this plastic piece, and I'll show you how to take that off shortly. So I've cut the wire to length for where I need to go for power wire. Now I've got a wire in the fuse holder, and I'll put the fuse in, and then I have to put a terminal, one of those ring terminals, on this end before I connect it to the battery over there. Okay, now that the 10 amp fuse is in the holder, this is connected securely to the battery, and all these wires are pretty much ran. And of course there's always another storm coming in every time I do these DIYs. So before I go ahead and tuck everything away, I'm gonna try to test this out best I can. Alright, so fortunately I have my jet ski trailer amidst all this mess hooked up, and as you can see, those lights are going off by themselves. In a good way, because I have the hazards on the beamer, and so far there's no errors for the lighting module, and I kind of hope it stays that way. So I'm gonna go ahead, put everything back together, and show you what it looks like when it's all said and done. And yeah, it's more than storming out under this overhang, but I'm still getting a lot of spray, and so I think I'm gonna have to finish this project in a few minutes when this passes, unless it's gonna be an all-day ordeal. Rain's kind of died down a bit, which is good for me. So now that we've got our wires zip tied down and routed in a untangled and stress-free manner, I think I'm gonna run another zip tie here for that wire. It's time to mount that device. I used this 3M stuff, this double-sided tape, as I mentioned before, and mounted it just in there, which is pretty much out of the way of things. Well, having this cable, which I'll kind of tuck back there eventually when I'm not using it, and that leaves it long enough because this is flat. Now you could drill a hole, I want to mention, and run this outside of the car. However, for my personal needs, I'm not going to do that. This will be plenty long enough to get down to the trailer hitch and the trailer wiring, because I've got enough slack here, and it's not in the way once I put that cover back on. It'll just kind of live there, and I'll put that little cap over that wire so no dust gets in there and such. So now it's time to assemble everything and double check it one more time. Okay, since I didn't really go over it before, there's a screw there which will have a little plastic cap over it, a screw there, Phillips head of course, and one here, which if you're looking at it from, I guess, upside down at this point, from this side, you'll have one middle, one there. You'll just have to take those plastic caps off with either a flathead screwdriver or a pair of pliers, and then take all these Phillips head screws out, and then this just kind of lifts up and basically put it back in the reverse order. Alright, now that it's all buttoned up, you couldn't even tell. So easy just to pop that panel off when you want to access your wire again. And after a little drive around with the lights on, testing the hazards and all the fun stuff, no errors. Alright, so I hope you like the DIY as much as I like not doing it. Well, didn't like doing it because it was so hot. However, it was incredibly easy to do. So if you did like this video, make sure you like it if it was helpful. Hopefully it was. And share it with a friend if you want. If it might be helpful for them, put it on a forum if it's not already. And so yeah, come back. I already said subscribe, and I might as well say it again. But come back, because I'll have more DIYs for this platform particularly, and I'll probably have a couple more vlogs or some racing videos or whatever. So yeah, make sure you enjoy that stuff and come on back. And always keep it foul.